sizzling stars, before the bolts could strike, Anti-Lad's uniform suddenly became insulated. I'm a little sick today, so the voice might sound a little different. Sometimes you see a design and you just have to wonder, was this on purpose or is one's mind in the gutter? No, this had to be on purpose. I'm Sash, this is Casually Comics, and let's talk about Anti-Lad. Anti-Lad comes to us from a Legion's tale. That's from a Legion of Superhero story. He has ties to the 75th century, and also a story that raises some continuity errors. He also has a design that we'll see if YouTube lets me get away with it. Funnily enough, this character comes from a story entitled The Legionnaire Nobody Remembered. Fitting, and he seems to have only appeared once. I stumbled upon him by accident when I was looking for an entirely different story. This one was about Brainiac, where he makes a Supergirl robot to be with him because he can't handle her not spending time with the Legion anymore. That story is Brainiac 5's secret weakness, and it and the Legionnaire Nobody Remembered are from Superboy 204 and the year 1974, so the Bronze Age. Both stories are by Cary Bates, who would also write the 70s Supergirl series, which we did a video on. I'll link it below. Now, the art in this is by Mike Grell. This was Grell's second issue doing the art entirely. This after Dave Cockrum left the book. He had a trial inking Cockrum in issue 202. That and a recommendation from Joe Orlando helped land him the job. The thing was, Cockrum had been a beloved artist, and so Grell was warned to brace himself for potential pushback by then editor Murray Boltinoff. Grell stated, "It was really funny because Murray said, well, congratulations, you got the job. Now for the bad news, you're gonna get hate mail." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, number one, you're replacing the most popular artist we ever had on the Legion, and number two, we're killing off one of their favorite characters." It was Invisible Kid. And he was right. It was a long time before anyone mentioned me without comparing me unfavorably to Dave. Justifiably so. So what does all this have to do with Anti-Lad? Well, we're establishing the environment, an atmosphere. Because while Grell felt Boltinoff had been fair in his warnings about fan backlash, he would find himself butting heads with his editor over other elements in the work, specifically what he labeled as Boltinoff's conservatism and lack of a sense of humor. He tells a story that centers around issue 204, but the second story, starring Brainiac and his robot girlfriend, it's surrounding a line that Brainiac 5 was supposed to say. Ultimately, that line doesn't really appear in the story, at least not in that format, but Grell stated, "There is one story, Brainiac's secret weakness, that it's Supergirl and Brainiac 5 who was searching all over for her, and there was a line where Brainiac said, 'I'm looking for the girl in the red and blue costume,' and I said, 'Murray, shouldn't that be 'I'm looking for the girl with the big S'? And Murray, not getting it at all, said, 'Let me see if that works.' And I said, no, Murray, it's just a joke." I mean, it's hardly high art. Here's the line that ended up appearing. "Absolutely, and a very pretty blonde wearing an S emblem was with him." Also, is her S that big?
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt.
Sometimes things go over people's heads. It happens to us all. This story is significant because it raises the idea that maybe sometimes things flew over the editor's head. Things like Anti-Lad's head, maybe. It also raises the idea that maybe some creators might have tried to mess with Murray. Cockrum also recalls butting heads with him over costume designs and the like. Not the Cosmic Boy corset, that was Grell. Some fans can identify a Grell costume on site. When I posted the stills of Anti-Lad in the community tab, some people went, "That's a Grell costume right there." There is a debate that still rages as to who is the better Legion artist, Grell or Cockrum. I'll let you fight that out in the comments below. For now, let's take a look at Anti-Lad and the story he's actually part of. "I intend to join the Legion whether you like it or not, and I'll prove I'm better than any of you." Well, that just sounds like your average Legion applicant. It's the 30th century and the Legionnaires are troubled because they found a mysterious photograph in their archives. Sorry, the 30th century. Photo grid. We're all agreed the photo grid couldn't be fake. Then why don't any of us remember him? Who was that other member? Who was Anti-Lad? Who was Anti-Lad? Whoa, the shading there is intense. Whoever Anti-Lad was, you know it's serious. A secret that can only be unraveled in the distant future, an era even far ahead of the Legion's 30th century. For as we glance 45,000 years ahead into the 75th century, in the 75th century we've fully given in to triangle superiority. Just triangles everywhere. "Father, come to my cubicle right away. Something terrible has happened." What is the trouble? "I was time peeping into the remote past to observe how Superboy was inducted into Legion of Superheroes. It was part of the research for the Superboy biography I'm compiling." My voice cracked so hard there. I'll just pretend it's because he's panicking. He's panicking that hard. He turned into the pimply faced kid from The Simpsons. Also, time peeping is such an apt way to describe that activity. Just people looking through time, creeping. It adds that uncomfortable factor it warrants. Imagine the different vibes those time travelers who went to woo Lois Lane over in Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane would have if their opening line was, "So I was time peeping." So what he saw while peeping on Superboy was him not being accepted into the Legion. Sounds about right, and it actually was, but we'll get to that later. But no, this is a disaster. History has been altered somehow. Soon, after examining the disassembled time scanner, "This instrument is defective. Instead of merely observing the time stream, its scanning rays have warped it and altered a portion of the past, namely Superboy's membership in the Legion." Time peeping. Not even once. Somehow Anti-Lad doesn't see how altering the past would be a problem, so his father has to demonstrate using what he calls the ancient game of dominoes. I'm glad he just had those there. He was waiting. He knew his son was going to make this mistake and he'd need those dominoes. Now his father goes to bring the matter to the science court, but Anti-Lad takes matters into his own hands because he's already messed up the timeline just by looking at it, so why not actually go back? Father means well, but by the time he goes through the proper channels to get permission, it may be too late. How could it be too late? You're time traveling. Any ripple effects in theory should already have happened. Paradoxy, timey-wimey, don't think about it too hard. And inside, a grim council meeting is underway. So now that you've all been told of our trip to Smallville in the 20th century and Superboy's disappointing failure, I open the floor to other nominations for a new member. May I make a suggestion? It's uncanny how he materialized out of nowhere. Better tell us who you are and fast. We don't welcome intruders. Or new members. Heyo, up top. Okay, look at his head. Come on now. We all see it. Is his name Richard Johnson? Why is it like that? Now, when they draw people from the far future, sometimes they play with the idea that people are gonna get smarter, so they'll have bigger heads and they'll be bald. But they're usually either fully rounded, or if they do the lobes, they make them really differentiated. And then it looks more like a butt head sometimes. It's usually something more overt and obvious and not this. I've seen too many things for this not to look like a penis to me. Don't hurt me, YouTube. What follows is Anti-Lad, as he's named himself, demolishing the arrogant Legion, and it's kind of satisfying. You got it all wrong. You're the one who ought to be worried. Sizzling stars, before the bolts could strike, Anti-Lad's uniform suddenly became insulated, and he absorbs the electric charge without harm. Here, Lightning Lad, I believe these belong to you. I was wondering when you joined in on the fun, Cosmic Boy. Your super magnetism will make for an interesting bout. Well, I'm waiting, Leader Man. Is his paper also about how he hates the Legion? Why is he being so aggressive? Cosmic Boy's looking extra sassy today. Anyone else notice how when Grell gives him the corset costume, it's essentially just removing the pink and white parts of his original costume? There you are, pal. Back to normal. Well, how did I do? Do I qualify to be a Legionnaire or not? We'll talk about it inside. Listen, we just like to pretend we're going to accept new members and either reject them or send them to the League of Substitute Heroes. What an honor to be sitting here among you with my own nameplate, just like I belonged. We do the same for any applicant who passes our preliminary tests. And our automated robot photographer has just snapped a picture, so if you fail the other tests, at least you'll have a photo grid of yourself with us. What a memento, just so you can feel extra bad about yourself. Look at how close you came, or I guess it's supposed to be motivating, so you can go try again. I don't know why you would. You should see how they roast people who don't make it. Lana Lang clip, go. Sorry, Lana. A Legionnaire must have natural powers, but yours come from that bio ring. Please sit there with the other rejectees. Brainiac is not buying Anti-Lad at all and has noticed he never takes off his visor, and he's able to see through the ruse and his special visor. But all of this was part of the plan. He wanted to be caught, and also I guess that's why he was being so abrasive, allegedly. He wants them to think that he sabotaged Superboy's attempt to join the Legion so that he could take his place, because everybody wants to be in the Legion. So much of his plan relies on them just thinking that they are the hottest team out there. And then, just as he came, he vanished. What happened? Why are we all standing here? Strange, this whole day is just a blank in my mind. It's like 24-hour amnesia. Same with me, all I know is we've got to give Superboy another initiation test. Yes, I have the same feeling. Needless to say, history was set right again when Superboy passed and became the Legionnaire he was destined to be. As for the other members forgetting all about Anti-Lad's visit, I'd programmed my visor to implant in each of them a post-hypnotic command, ordering them to have no memory of me once I disappeared. But as for the revealing photo grid of myself that was left behind, that will have to remain an unsolved mystery to the Legion for all time. Now you know the secret story of the Legionnaire nobody remembered. Don't tell a soul. No, why would he leave the photo grid there? They would never stop digging. He should have erased that. Maybe this is why his dad wanted to send an actual time agent and, not the amateur who destroyed the timeline in the first place. Just because you're writing a Superboy biography and are a huge fanboy doesn't mean you should go back in time and try and fix Superboy's history. Also, I failed the challenge. I told everybody who deigned to watch this far into the video. So that is the tale of Anti-Lad. It's not a bad self-contained story, except for one thing. It's not accurate to how Superboy originally joined the Legion. Superboy is shown joining the Legion back in Adventure Comics 247, and he failed the 3 tests they give him initially, and they're awful about it, even though they made him fail on purpose. 3 times you failed in the contest, Superboy. Sorry, but we reject you from the Legion of Superheroes. But I still won't try to alibi my way out of this. I'll take it with a smile. Only the backward 20th century people could think him a superhero, but they exaggerated his super deeds. Right, Superboy? Superboy holds his smile despite the jibes that follow him to the door. It could be, well, so long. No hard feelings on my part. But Superboy's brave smile covers a broken heart. How will I ever tell them back in Smallville that their superhero flunked out of the superhero club? Sob! Wait, Superboy, come back. But I don't understand. I've been rejected. No, you're a member, Superboy. We gave you a bad time only as your initiation. We deliberately decoyed you elsewhere during each contest, for instance. And then they explain how they made him fail each contest on purpose. It was only your initiation, and it proved you're a super good sport, taking it all with a smile. Hooray for a new member! Oh, they love a good hazing down at the Legion. Remember when they all dressed up as alternate Jimmies and beat up original Jimmy to surprise him and say he was an honorary member? Pepperidge Farm remembers. So why do I say that the Anti-Lad story was inaccurate? Well, the devil is in the details. Anti-Lad's father says everyone knows Superboy passed that test, but in the original tale, while he did join, it looked like he failed the test. And also it's not test, it's tests plural. Even if one views this as, well, he did pass ultimately, so technically this would be a changed past, there are so many details that are wrong. Like Superboy went to the Legion and got tested in the future, not the other way around. Brainiac is already seen here as a member of the team, but he joined with Supergirl, so if he's already there, this would mean that they recruited Supergirl and Brainiac 5 first. It's all these little details that start to add up. Another, far more important clue is that this story is written by Cary Bates, who wrote another story, and that was in 1971, the story Trust Me or Kill Me, from issue 173 of Superboy. In that story, they have to recount how Superboy joined the Legion, and this is what they say. You passed all our tests with flying colors and became a Legionnaire the next day. Accurate enough for you? Dead right. You've got a good memory. Cary Bates apparently does not, unless they were deliberately trying to alter how it happened. The Legion is no stranger to retcon, so that is possible. It's certainly nicer than the original version, where the real test was how well he could take the Legion being, failing. That was the true test. Did he have a good attitude? Will he allow them to bully him, basically? It's a little thing, as the story is self-contained and ends with a back to status quo type finale. Or this is for the time seemingly the new status quo, since it's referencing the backstory that Cary Bates is familiar with. But it's not entirely accurate to Superboy's first appearance, so it's a good opportunity to push your glasses up and be like, well, actually, he was never chasing after them. That's so funny. They make Superboy so desperate. It's funny to imagine that Anti-Lad and his dad don't watch the full tape, are just running in guns blazing, jumping to conclusions, and there's nothing to fix. It would be nice if the issue 173 version was how it happened, but not as amusing as Brutality of Adventure Comics 247. As for Anti-Lad's head, do you see what I see? Some people said they saw a butt. Some people said they saw nothing. Someone in the community post told me to get my head out of the gutter, and to that I say, the Anti-Lad story is a fun one and done. It's always amusing to see people struggle with joining the Legion. Some of them end up going full supervillain because of it. This one flips that script on its head a little bit and lets you see the Legion get a bit humbled, which for me was amusing. Plus, Cary Bates does write some compelling drama, even in a story this short. There's a lot of feelings in this tale, mostly desperation and arrogance, also smugness, but those are feelings too. And I like Grell's art. Questionable Anti-Lad head included. Cockrum or Grell, I like both. This was a whim, but I wanted to tell you about it. Share some of your favorite joining or not joining the Legion stories down below. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to spend discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it. I hope my voice did not destroy you. I can hear that it's going in and out, but the show must go on. YouTube, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll be back as ever with more videos, hopefully sounding more like myself, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye. And remember, look out for the girl with the big S.